First contact failures. Commander Elena Reyes stood at the observation deck of the Terran diplomatic vessel Horizon, staring out at the vast orbital structure known as the Galactic Assembly. The massive ring-shaped station rotated slowly against the backdrop of an unfamiliar star system, its gleaming surface adorned with the flags and symbols of 100 spacefaring civilizations. Earth's flag, recently added, seemed small and insignificant compared to the grand displays of older empires. "They're ready for us, Commander," said Lieutenant Park, approaching with a tablet in hand. "Though I should warn you, the Varjan delegation has requested additional security for this meeting." Elena raised an eyebrow. "Security? Against what? We're barely armed according to their regulations." "Apparently," Park said, lowering his voice, "they consider humans to be unpredictably volatile." Their ambassador used the term evolutionary aberration in his private communications. Elena straightened her uniform, the blue and silver of Earth's United Defense Force catching the artificial light. "Well then, let's not disappoint them." The assembly chamber was a marvel of alien engineering, a perfect hemisphere with hovering platforms arranged in concentric circles. Representatives from across the galaxy conversed in a cacophony of translated voices, some humanoid, others utterly foreign to human understanding. The Earth delegation was assigned to one of the outermost platforms, furthest from the center where the most established species conducted the important business of the galaxy. High Admiral Zex Kalorn of the Varjan Empire stood on a central platform, his iridescent scales shifting colors as he addressed the assembly. The translator in Elena's ear converted his complex harmonic speech into English. "The Varjan Empire welcomes our newest galactic neighbors." Zex Kalorn's voice carried a hint of condescension. "Though we question the wisdom of accelerating primitive species into our midst, Earth has barely achieved faster than light travel, and already they demand equal trading rights." Elena stepped forward to her microphone. "With respect, High Admiral, Earth doesn't demand anything. We simply request the same consideration given to other emergent civilizations. Our technological development may be recent, but our capacity to contribute is substantial." The Varjan scales rippled, and what Elena had learned was their equivalent of dismissive laughter. "Contribute? Your species still relies on combustion engines and nuclear fission. What could Earth possibly offer that the established civilizations haven't mastered centuries ago?" "Innovation," Elena replied. "Adaptability. Humans thrive on challenges." "So we've heard," Zex Kalorn responded. "Your planet's gravity, atmospheric composition, and radiation levels have been classified as borderline hostile by our xenobiologists. It's remarkable your species survived at all, let alone developed spaceflight." Murmurs spread through the assembly. Elena recognized the familiar narrative. Earth was a death world by galactic standards, and humans were viewed with a mixture of curiosity and caution. "Perhaps," she countered, "those very conditions are why humanity might prove a valuable ally. We've overcome substantial obstacles to be here." "Overcoming obstacles does not equate to galactic readiness," the Varjan dismissed. "The Varjan Empire has maintained peace across 3 spiral arms for millennia. We've seen dozens of aggressive young species rise and fall. The protections we offer come with the expectation of deference to established order." The meeting continued for hours, with Elena fighting for even the most basic accommodations for Earth's trade vessels. The Varjans blocked every proposal, citing security concerns and quarantine protocols. When she returned to the Horizon, Elena found Admiral Chen waiting in the conference room. His weathered face looked grim as he reviewed data on a holographic display. "Successful negotiations, Commander?" he asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. "The Varjans are blocking us at every turn, sir. They've essentially restricted Earth ships to our own solar system unless we agree to their protection terms." Admiral Chen nodded. "Protection that would give them mining rights to half our asteroid belt and military access to our orbital platforms." "It's extortion," Elena said. "It's galactic politics," Chen corrected. "And it just got more complicated. He expanded the holographic display to show a tactical readout. We've detected a Varjan battle group entering the outer solar system. 16 vessels, approaching Jupiter. Elena studied the formation. That's not a diplomatic escort. No, Chen agreed. They're calling it a training exercise in international space, but our analysis suggests they're testing our defensive capabilities and readiness. We're outmatched, Elena noted, recognizing the technological disparity. Their smallest vessel has firepower equivalent to our largest destroyer. Admiral Chen's expression remained carefully neutral. On paper, yes. You don't seem concerned, sir. The Varjans have been space-capable for over 3,000 years, Commander Reyes. They've grown comfortable with their technological superiority. And we haven't. Humanity, Chen said, has never had the luxury of comfort. Our history is written in blood and innovation, often simultaneously. He tapped a secure command into the display, which is why Project Prometheus was activated the moment we confirmed intelligent alien life existed. The display shifted to show schematics Elena had never seen before, ship designs, and weapon systems that seemed decades beyond current Earth technology. Are these theoretical? She asked. No, Commander. They'd been deployed throughout the outer solar system for the past 18 months. The vessels the Varjans can detect are merely the visible fraction of our defense capability. You anticipated hostility from first contact. Chen's expression darkened. I anticipated humanity doing what it always does, preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. The UN Security Council authorized the project with unanimous consent. Earth may be new to the galactic stage, but we've been fighting wars since we climbed down from the trees. Alerts flashed across the tactical display. The Varjan fleet had increased speed and changed formation. It appears, Chen said calmly, that negotiations have failed. The Varjan battle group has deployed weapon systems and is moving toward Earth's orbital defense network. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. They're actually attacking. We've been in the Galactic Assembly for less than a year. Apparently, that was long enough for them to determine we're a threat. Chen opened a communication channel to Earth Command, or an easy conquest. Either way, they're about to learn an important lesson about humanity. Which is? Admiral Chen's grim expression finally broke into a small, determined smile. We don't like bullies. Within hours, Earth's defense fleet had mobilized. The ships were smaller than their Varjan counterparts and fewer in number, but they moved with a precision that spoke of extensive drilling. Elena found herself aboard the command vessel Defiance, coordinating with tactical officers as the Varjan fleet approached. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, reported Communications Officer Dias, demanding immediate surrender and disarmament of all Earth military assets. Admiral Chen, now in full battle dress, nodded. Standard translation protocols. Yes, sir. They want an answer within 30 minutes, or they'll begin targeting orbital infrastructure. Send them this response, Chen said. Earth acknowledges your declaration of hostile intent. We reject your demands and caution you to withdraw immediately. Elena looked at him. That's it. No explanation. No counteroffer. No point, Chen replied. They've already decided how this ends. Now we show them why that was a miscalculation. The tactical display showed the Varjan fleet approaching Mars orbit, their formation spreading to envelop Earth's smaller defensive force. All ships, Chen broadcast to the Earth fleet, execute Operation Thermopylae. The Earth vessels, previously arranged in a standard defensive perimeter, suddenly broke formation. Instead of maintaining position, they accelerated in seemingly random vectors, some toward the Varjan fleet, others toward the planetary bodies of the solar system. What are they doing? One of the Varjan officers demanded over an open channel. Their maneuvers are illogical. The answer came moments later as Earth ships disappeared from Varjan sensors, using planets, moons, and even larger asteroids to mask their signatures. The coordinated maneuver had scattered Earth's forces, but in a deliberate pattern that the Varjans couldn't immediately discern. The first rule of asymmetric warfare, Chen said quietly. Never fight on your enemy's terms when they outgun you. The Varjan fleet, accustomed to direct confrontation with their overwhelming firepower, hesitated. Their formation tightened defensively as they tried to locate the scattered Earth vessels. They're scanning with active sensors, Tactical Officer Liang reported, flooding the system with detection pulses. Chen nodded. Which means they're revealing their own positions and capabilities with every scan, exactly as anticipated. Elena watched as data streamed in from the dispersed Earth fleet, each vessel conducting detailed analysis of Varjan technology from multiple angles. We're mapping their blind spots, she realized. Among other things, Chen confirmed, the Varjans have relied on technological superiority for too long. They'd forgotten the fundamentals of warfare: intelligence gathering, adaptation, and the home field advantage. The standoff continued for hours, with the Varjan fleet advancing methodically toward Earth, while the scattered defense forces conducted hit-and-run attacks against their perimeter ships. Each engagement was brief. An Earth vessel would appear from behind a moon or asteroid, fire precisely targeted weapons at a specific system on a Varjan ship, then disappear before substantial return fire could be brought to bear. They're testing our shield harmonics, the Varjan commander realized too late. Each attack targets a different frequency. By the time the Varjan fleet reached Earth orbit, their formation had tightened further, several vessels showing damage to propulsion and sensor systems. The remaining Earth ships finally regrouped in high orbit, forming a last line of defense that seemed pathetically inadequate against the still formidable alien armada. This is your final opportunity to surrender, the Varjan High Admiral transmitted. Your guerrilla tactics have been noted, but they merely delay the inevitable. The Varjan Empire has conquered systems far more advanced than yours. Admiral Chen looked at the tactical display, where a countdown timer quietly ticked toward 0. Perhaps, he replied, but none quite like ours. Humanity unleashed. As the Varjan fleet moved into position around Earth, their formation was a textbook display of overwhelming force. Warships arranged in three-dimensional layers designed to provide overlapping fields of fire while protecting their command vessel at the center. Against any conventional opponent, it would have been an insurmountable advantage. But humans had rarely fought conventional wars. Activate Project Prometheus, Admiral Chen ordered calmly. All phases. Throughout the solar system, what had appeared to be dormant satellites, asteroidal mining equipment, and space debris suddenly came alive. Hundreds of stealth weapon platforms, disguised as civilian infrastructure or natural objects, powered up targeting systems. What is this? The Varjan commander demanded as new signatures appeared on his sensors. Where did these come from? Did you really think, Chen replied, that a species that spent its entire history fighting itself wouldn't prepare for external threats? Humanity unified precisely because we anticipated this moment. The first wave of Earth's hidden defenses targeted the Varjan ship's propulsion systems with precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulses. The alien shields, optimized to deflect high-energy weapons, proved vulnerable to the modulated frequencies Earth had mapped during the earlier skirmishes. Their shield technology is impressive, Technical Officer Liang noted, but predictable. They rely on mathematical perfection rather than adaptive algorithms. Elena watched as Varjan ships began to drift out of formation, their engines temporarily disabled. They're not used to having their technology fail them. Few advanced civilizations are, Chen said. When you've depended on technological superiority for millennia, you forget how to function without it. The Varjan flagship, a massive vessel at the center of their formation, launched fighters in response. These smaller craft, piloted by Varjan elites, were designed for quick strikes against capital ships. They swarmed toward Earth's visible defense fleet. Tungsten rain, Chen ordered. From Earth's upper atmosphere, thousands of small, unguided tungsten rods were released, simple kinetic weapons that had been positioned weeks earlier. As they fell into the paths of the oncoming Varjan fighters, They created an almost impenetrable field of hypervelocity impacts. The fighters, unable to detect the non-powered objects until too late, suffered catastrophic damage as they collided with the primitive but effective weapons. Barbaric, the Varjan commander transmitted, his translated voice carrying genuine shock. You're using ballistic weapons in space combat. We're using what works, Alina replied, taking the communication channel. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, it's our adaptability, our willingness to use whatever means necessary to survive. The remaining Earth vessels now executed a coordinated attack on the disabled Varjan ships, targeting communication arrays and weapons systems with surgical precision. They weren't trying to destroy the alien vessels, only render them combat ineffective. The Varjan flagship, still fully operational, began charging its main weapon system, a gravitic cannon capable of devastating an entire continent. Energy readings spiked as the massive vessel oriented toward Earth. They're targeting Washington, Lam reported. Energy buildup indicates a city killer shot. Admiral Chen nodded to Communications Officer Diaz. Activate the ground team. Inside the Varjan flagship, alarms suddenly blared as internal sensors detected multiple breaches. A squad of Earth Special Forces, who had infiltrated the vessel during the initial confusion, emerged from maintenance shafts and service corridors. These operators, wearing advanced exoskeletons that enhanced their already formidable human strength and endurance, moved with practiced efficiency through the alien ship. How did they get aboard? A Varjan security officer demanded as footage showed humans disabling critical systems throughout the vessel. They boarded during your approach through the outer system, Chen explained, now addressing the increasingly desperate Varjan commander directly. While you were focused on our visible fleet, we inserted teams onto 6 of your vessels. They've been hiding aboard for hours, mapping your systems, and waiting for the signal. The Special Forces team reached the flagship's engine room and deployed specialized charges designed to disable but not destroy the power core. Throughout the Varjan fleet, similar teams executed coordinated strikes against critical systems. This is impossible, the Varjan commander insisted. No species would risk sending their people on suicide missions. They're not suicide missions, Alina countered. Our people fully intend to survive, and based on our analysis of your life support systems, they can survive longer in emergency conditions than your crews can. Humans evolved on a planet that tried to kill us at every turn. We're quite good at staying alive in hostile environments. As the Varjan flagship's power fluctuated, its gravitic weapon powering down, Admiral Chen opened a channel to the entire alien fleet. Your flagship is disabled. Your formation is broken. Your options are limited, he stated flatly. The Varjan Empire has 2 choices now: withdraw and acknowledge Earth as a sovereign power with all attendant rights under Galactic Assembly law, or continue this conflict and lose your entire expedition force. There was a long pause before the Varjan commander responded. When he did, his translated voice carried a new tone, one of reluctant respect. The Empire has underestimated Earth's defensive capabilities. We will withdraw to neutral space and reassess diplomatic options. As the damaged Varjan vessels limped away from Earth orbit, their flagship under tow by its companions, Alina turned to Admiral Chen. They'll be back, won't they, with a larger force next time? Chen nodded. Eventually, but not soon. First, they'll need to understand how they were defeated by a primitive species. That analysis will reveal uncomfortable truths about their own complacency. And by then, Chen said with quiet confidence, humanity will have advanced further. We always do when faced with a challenge. It's what we're best at. 3 weeks later, Commander Alina Raves stood once again in the Galactic Assembly Chamber, this time on a platform much closer to the center. Representatives from dozens of civilizations watched with new interest as she addressed the gathered delegates. The confrontation between Earth and the Varjan Empire was regrettable but illuminating, she began. It demonstrated that technological disparity does not determine the outcome of conflicts. It also showed that humanity, while new to galactic society, will not submit to intimidation or unequal treatment. The Varsian representative, notably not High Admiral Zex Kalorn, kept his scales a neutral blue. The Empire acknowledges that certain assumptions about Earth were incorrect. We propose a formal diplomatic recognition and non-aggression treaty. Earth accepts the proposal, Alina replied, with the addition of equal trading rights as guaranteed to all sovereign members of the Assembly. The Varsian scales briefly flashed an irritated red before settling back to diplomatic blue. Accepted. As the formal procedures continued, representatives from several other civilizations approached the Earth delegation. Some offered technological exchange proposals, others military alliance considerations. Word of how Earth had defeated a superior Varsian force had spread quickly through galactic channels, prompting many species to reassess the value of human innovation. I believe, said a representative from the Aldibian collective, a humanoid species with silver skin and 4 arms, that the galaxy has misunderstood Earth from the beginning. We saw your world's harsh conditions as a disadvantage, when in fact, they created your greatest strengths. Elena nodded. Pressure creates diamonds, as we say on Earth. An apt metaphor, the Aldibian agreed. My people have a similar saying. Only struggle births wisdom. Perhaps our civilizations have more in common than appears at first glance. As the assembly session concluded, Admiral Chen joined Elena at a viewport overlooking the vast spiral galaxy. They now navigated as equals with ancient civilizations. The Varsians made a fundamental error, Chen reflected. They looked at our technology and saw inferiority. They should have looked at our history instead. What would they have seen? Elena asked. A species that went from first flight to landing on our moon in 66 years. From splitting the atom to quantum computing in less than a century. Chen's eyes remained fixed on the galaxy beyond. A species that has faced extinction-level events, pandemic diseases, world wars, and climate catastrophes, and emerged stronger each time. Elena considered this. You think the rest of the galaxy understands this now? Some do, Chen said. The wise ones. The others will learn eventually. He turned from the viewport. Humanity doesn't need to be the strongest or most advanced species in the galaxy. We just need to be what we've always been, the most adaptable. As the Earth delegation prepared to return home, messages arrived from dozens of previously aloof civilizations, seeking dialogue and cooperation. The galactic community, it seemed, had received an important education about their newest member. The lesson was simple but profound. Never underestimate a species that evolved on a world that tried to kill it daily. Never dismiss the ingenuity of beings who turned survival into an art form. And most importantly, never, ever corner humans unless you're prepared for what happens when they fight back. Earth had arrived on the galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same.